Hey, legends, thanks for joining me. And it's my great pleasure today to interview Adrian, one of my legendary clients that's currently training with us. How are you, Twiggy?
Yeah, doing all right, man. How you doing?
Fantastic, buddy. Fantastic. Mate, you've been running OCR events for a little while. I've obviously seen you out on course for a little while. When did you get into it?
Uh, I think it was close to 2 years ago. So when I decided I wanted to do my first one,
Yeah,
which was
cool.
the Urban Sprint in Melbourne at the end of
Nice.
2018.
Yeah,
Uh, so yeah, trained for that. Obviously, I enjoyed it.
yeah.
Then just sort of kept building from there, really,
Got got
up until the start of this year when we all went on pause.
got bitten by the bug. That was the very first urban sprint in the world. Was that event?
Yes,
I think I
and it
ran.
was ridiculously hot. I think
It
it was
was.
just over 40 degrees when I set out for my heat. So
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't that pleasant.
So your first taste of the sport might have humbled you a little bit with the conditions,
Oh god, yeah.
but but
Like
but
I did,
you
yeah,
sorry,
did
mate.
a couple of training runs in some heat, which was about 32, and I thought I should be right. And you rocked up on the day, got about a K and a half in, and said, "I'm cooked."
That's how us Spartans do it, mate. And
Yeah,
you were hooked from there. You haven't looked back. I've seen you tackle all sorts of events. I've seen you at 24-hour enduros, and just recently on the weekend you hit your very first 50K trail run. How'd that go?
yeah, pretty good. Like obviously, stuff never goes to plan, which is one of those things. You keep hearing people say these longer events, like you'll have a plan, and whether so with boxing, you can go with the plan, and it'll last as long as it takes to get hit in the face.
Right? Yeah,
That's pretty much how that went.
yeah,
Like yeah, it's sort of set up a 13K loop, and I thought I'd do that 4 times. Got towards the end of a second lap and hurt my knee, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll give it like 10 minutes rest, and took all my nutrition and then went out and got about 5K into that lap, and I thought I'm in a lot of trouble. But just
yeah,
adapted the run, and instead of doing four full laps, I did three in a bit where I just did a 1K loop around a gentle bit of the track and got it up to the right distance and thought, right, I'll set off from home from here and got it done. And it was I said it was hard, but it was a lot of fun, and I can't wait
yeah.
to do more of them. Really,
Yeah, awesome, mate. Awesome. And obviously at the moment through COVID, a lot of people are hitting these virtual events and you're sort of out running on your own on the weekend. It's not quite the same as a real event, but mate, it's awesome to see you staying on the grind and keeping working through this time that it's been very difficult for a lot of people to maintain their exercise habits in this period. How did you come about signing up with us? You're obviously on our quarantine recovery program. How did you come onto it?
all right, well, obviously, like I'm in the same boat as a lot of people when the first lockdown like hit the whole country back in March. The first week or two, I'm like, oh, that's all right. And then as it sort of got further in, and like as more and more events started getting cancelled, it was yeah, the motivation took a massive hit around
Yeah,
then. Um, I'd actually been looking at joining up with you before all this happened because I was sort of I think we did Oberon, sat there and like I'd sort of been training for it, and then I think I came third last out of everybody for the age group, and I was just like, I'm a bit sick of being average. I thought
yeah,
I was going to tee that up, but then the lockdown hit, and then you offered the 28-day lockdown. Uh,
yeah. The 28-day challenge that we ran.
yeah, so I jumped in on that, and I think the first 2 weeks I was pretty good with that, and then just my world just derailed again, as a lot of other people's did, and then it wasn't too long after that that you offered the 12-week quarantine. Sorry, the quarantine plan. And I gave it some thought, and I'd sort of like, no, I wasn't happy with where I was sitting at that point because just training completely stopped. And I thought, nah, I need to get back into it because that's sort of what keeps me going and keeps me sane and happy. So, yeah, so I hit you up and jumped in.
Yeah, mate. And you've been kicking since. So, mate, what's your experience been like through that quarantine recovery program? And that's the program where you have it's body weight based. The workouts change every single week, but there's a huge focus on support and accountability and keeping you on track. And what's your experience been like?
Yeah, really good. The first like 2 weeks, I think, were a bit average. On that was like on my end, where it was sort of just that was more just like trying to get back on the horse. I think. But once I sort of got around that initial part and actually started getting serious with it again, it's just been really, really good. Like it's giving me a lot of structure
Mm,
again, which is like as when you sort of you've got your gym and all that, you plan your week working out to like
yeah,
the nth degree. You know, you sort of sit there like, Monday I'm doing this with my arms, Tuesday's gonna be legs, Wednesday I'm gonna go for a run, and this and that. When you sort of take that away from it, you're it sort of gets a bit harder to try to make up stuff.
yeah,
And I also struggle a bit with doing body weight sort of workouts because it's sort of I just don't enjoy doing it really.
yeah.
But it's been a lot easier. Like once it was all there in front of me, um, yeah, sorry. Um, and yeah, so once I had all that sort of in front of me, and then also because every workout that we got, there's a video example of
Yeah.
every single exercise that we're going to have to do. So I didn't have to sit there and like either look it up online or go sit there and look at something and go, I don't know what the hell that is. So I could do it properly. And then yeah, so once the structure come back, it all started getting a lot easier again.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Awesome. And, as I said, you have been kicking ass. You've gotten some amazing results working with us. And I see you getting out and hitting PBs and hitting virtuals and doing some crazy stuff, which is really good to see. One of the things that I guess we focus on, is that support. I really want people to understand that there's this misconception with online training that we're just going to send you some stuff to do and you're off and we leave you to your own devices to get it done. And I want you to understand and I want people to understand that it's more than that. For us, we want to make sure we're there with you every step of the way. And what has the support been like in this program?
Yeah, really good. Like first off, you've got the client group in there, so every week it's just there's always people in there just talking. Like so every week it's sort of you put up like how did you rate your last week, and you
Mm,
sit there and you sort of you rate your nutrition, you rate your exercise, and then like some people might be like, oh, this was a bit average last week, so you can get around them a bit, or if you sort of just you need that sort of G up, there's people there to do it.
yeah,
You then also had Funda, who helps you out, with a lot of stuff as well. Like
yeah.
if I go more than 24 hours without talking to her, you sort of think, is she all right?
Yeah. So
know,
Funda's my support and accountability coach, and she's very good at what she does. I basically said to Funda, I want you to annoy them until they exercise, and she's very good at it.
yeah. And like so she's great. So she'll
Yeah,
give you sort of just make sure that you're doing what you need to be doing. If there's anything you need help with, she's there as well. So it's good. It hasn't felt like an isolated experience, which
awesome.
given that we're living in a relatively isolated community at the moment, it's a pretty big win. That
Yeah, mate, and you being down in Melbourne, you're definitely in the thick of it with isolation happening again down there as we ramp up for the second wave. So
like that's one thing that I have found talking with a few people is sort of how you're handling this second lockdown. I actually think I'm actually handling this one a lot better than the first one because I'm midway on, I'm towards the end of my 12 weeks, but I'm active every day just
yeah,
about now, and like I can sit there and like I've got all these structures and plans and stuff in place already. So like whilst I'd love to be going back to the gym or like going for an hour or 2 hours drive to hit up some epic trails and that. I've got the stuff in place now that I can sit there and go, that's cool. I can work around this. I can still get what I need done. So it's like, it's nowhere near as bad as it was that first time around when just everything went and I had nothing going.
yeah, definitely, man. And that's such a big thing, when you do lose that direction and you become a bit aimless, it's very difficult to find, which way you're going to go. And I guess having that little bit of structure with your exercise becomes a rock that you sort of build everything else upon. So if you have that routine, because that's been one of the biggest things with this lockdown that's hard is everyone's lost their routine and their structure. You know, they've gone from going to work and going to the gym and at home is where you exercise. Now you do all of those things in the same room potentially, you know, which is mental. So, you know, having that structure is a powerful thing. What's next for you, man? What's the next frontier?
Um, well, it's hard because obviously the state of racing is really in flux
Mm,
at the moment. Um, the 50K I did on the weekend was obviously it was a full replacement for a race I was supposed to be doing in Brisbane. They've currently got that rescheduled for November, so I'm going to be training as if that's still happening. If
awesome.
it doesn't, well, then I'll just go back out in my local trail, go run around there, and from there, it's probably just really starting to build towards more endurance-based stuff for next year. I want to hit a Spartan Ultra,
Awesome.
like a proper one, like with all the obstacles and all that.
Yeah.
Instead of just lifting the fast up and down, and then yeah, sort of got in just after that, and yeah, hopefully in the next sort of year or so, 18 months, I want to work towards 100K and tick that
Awesome,
off
mate.
too.
Awesome. Always pushing those limits, mate. It's what we want to see. So, mate,
Yeah,
it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you today. Thank you for taking the time, mate. I know you did just finish work a little bit earlier. So, mate, you rest up and enjoy the rest of your day and catch you later.
no worries. Thank you very much, mate.
Thanks, buddy.